just got back from the grocery store and we need to talk because my diet has pretty much completely shifted, and honestly, it is super easy for me now to maintain within 8 to 10% body fat, and it does not have to be this difficult. I don't know why I was not eating like this earlier, but a couple months ago, things just started to click with me and I was like, you know what? Let's make this really simple. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you my exact food list, an update on what I've been eating, literally down to every single food that goes into my body. And then I'm gonna talk through just like why I do these things and some other caveats or things that you should consider. My hope is that by you kind of taking the approach that I am, you will also understand that eating to stay lean, gain muscle, and lose fat is really not that difficult. And I'll admit, used to be really difficult. And as like a fitness influencer person or someone who has a YouTube channel, I used to think that explaining it was really difficult, but honestly, it's not. Let's get into it. I should also mention this isn't just about building muscle and losing fat. You guys know that I surf a lot. I do a lot of other activities. I'm all about movement, heavy jump rope, bodyweight exercises, just being super active. So it's not just about looking a certain way. It's also about how do you feel throughout the day? How do you move? Are you moving properly? I'm gonna give you guys an exact rundown of everything that I am eating. Steak, we got ribeye, strip, maybe some sirloin, chicken, ground turkey, bacon, eggs, blueberries, apples, usually Honeycrisp, oranges, frozen mango, green juice, and then sometimes this like orange turmeric cayenne juice that I sometimes mix with the green juice, coconut water, garlic, ginger, peppers, onions. Those are what I cook with. Nuts, usually almonds, pistachios, macadamia nuts, rice cakes, various flavors. I like the white cheddar, popcorn, and tomato basil. Hummus, cheese, usually cheddar or goat cheese, hot sauce, and some kind of like chipotle ranch dressing, and honey mustard, and fish. I left fish out of there. So I do want to state, this is my diet 5 to 6 days out of the week. I don't do cheat meals anymore. I don't even really eat dessert anymore, which I'll get into. I say that because most of my regular days are just spent eating this way. And then, yes, I still go to restaurants. You got to have a life. You got to have fun. So when I'm at a restaurant, I might eat something different, but honestly, it probably is one of these foods as well. I just might have a side of like, you know, sweet potato fries, macaroni and cheese. If I'm at a sushi place, obviously it's rice, but it's not important. So I want to mention that this really was not intentional. There was nothing going on with my diet or anything that I was like, there needs to be a change. I just started eating this way out of simplicity, and that started me down this whole path of like, wait a second, why haven't I been eating this way, or why haven't I simplified how I'm eating? And what I mean by that is in most people's diets, we have all of these unnecessary foods that just don't need to be there. If you go to someone's house for like a steak dinner, they're gonna make you steak, and they're gonna make you asparagus, and they're gonna make you potatoes, and maybe they're gonna have bread on the side. I started to realize like, my goal is just to be as lean as I can, build muscle, but also I don't want to eat chicken every night. Like I want some good food. Then I started to realize, why don't I just eat steak? I don't need bread and potatoes and even the asparagus. Like if I'm just eating steak, that's awesome. And then I got to thinking, what about all these other foods that we try to incorporate into our diet that honestly, like we don't even need them? Granola, cereal, peanut butter, rice, potatoes, forgot bread. All these other just like super calorie dense fats or carbs, you really don't need them. It's just kind of a tradition to eat these foods with dinner. It's really not necessary, and honestly, it makes the process of losing weight a lot harder. By the way, if you're a vegan, just don't even watch this video, because it's not gonna work if you're a vegan. So I've had jump rope dudes for 8 years, and I've pretty much stayed within the range of 8 to 10% body fat, but diet has always been this thing that I'm constantly thinking about, and I still was in this phase of where I would eat a lot of like cheat meals and desserts and stuff. And I pretty much just don't even eat cheat meals. I don't really even eat dessert anymore, to the point that frozen mango is now pretty much my dessert. Like if I'm out on a date or something and the girl wants to go get ice cream, I'm gonna get ice cream, okay? I'm not saying that like I'm, you know, coming up with these rules that I can't have this or that anymore in my diet. 90% of my life, I've just completely cut out dessert because it's just not needed, and I'm eating all these other satiating good foods and fruits and meats and nuts and all that I don't really have that same craving for dessert. So I've cut out cheat meals. I've pretty much cut out dessert altogether. But again, it's not been intentional. It's just because I've replaced my sugar cravings with fruit. I'm not following any specific diet. Like, this is not carnivore. This is obviously not vegan. This is not one of those like sensationalized fad diets online. If you take a look at the food list that I just mentioned, it's just common sense. Like, most of it is just real, actual whole food. And then I don't feel bad about, you know, having cheese on my meals, having some ranch dressing with my chicken. It's fine. In the grand scheme of the calories that I'm gonna eat for the day, I'm pretty much eating super high protein, moderate fat, and moderate to low carb. So a little bit of hot sauce and Chipotle ranch dressing is not gonna really have a difference in terms of my physique or health. And also the positive is like, it's Chipotle ranch, like it's delicious. Also cheese, delicious. Like, you don't need to cut out cheese, just don't eat a pizza. That's a lot of cheese. But if you have some ground turkey and some eggs on top of that, or a strip of bacon, and you want to throw a little cheese on there, you're gonna be fine. It's okay. I think the biggest thing with this diet is that it is very high in protein. I tend to eat most of my protein till the end of the day. Like, I wake up, I have black coffee. Sometimes I will put creamer in it, but usually it's black. Typically go surf, so I don't even get back to my place till around 11, sometimes noon. So I'm in the fasted state. That's when I'll eat some rice cakes, some nuts, some fruits, probably apple, you know, a cup full of blueberries. But I'm not really eating all of my protein until later in the day. So for example, tonight for dinner, 3 like strip sirloin steak, a pound of steak total, which is somewhere in the range of like 90 to 100 grams of protein. So that's what I'm gonna eat for dinner. I'll probably have 4 eggs with that. And then I'm gonna eat some more fruit, an apple, an orange. And then for dessert a little bit later in the night, I'm gonna eat some mangoes, frozen mangoes. And again, this is not no carb. I'm not one of those people that's like, no carbs, like the keto thing. I don't think that's healthy. I know people are gonna argue this with me, but if you're going to eat carbs, get it from fruits, or I think, you know, at the very least, like rice cakes. Those are really yummy and they're not high in calories. They're not that high in carbs. So when I just need a quick snack, it's easy to do that. Or sometimes I'll eat hummus or dip the rice cakes in hummus. So again, super high protein, moderate fat, and moderate to low carbohydrates. I guess one thing that I've realized with this is if you worry too much about your diet, especially the people who are measuring their meals out and doing all this like prep cooking and stuff, if you have to think so much about it, you're probably not gonna stick to it. The reason this works so well for me is, yeah, I get to the end of the day and I'm like, man, I'm gonna like grill some chicken with ranch, or I'm gonna make a steak tonight, or I'm gonna have bacon and eggs and some ground turkey. It's really easy. Instead of thinking about all these other foods that I need to make, I'm basically just eating fruits, nuts, and meat. Salmon as well, totally forgot. And again, sauces, fine. Cheese, fine. Alcohol, moderation. If you're gonna drink, do a couple on the weekend, maybe have a couple of beers, a tequila soda. Don't go to Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville and fill up on those slushies that have tons and tons of sugar. Another thing is stop snacking. Just get used to eating high calorie meals and don't be just feeding yourself these little tiny snacks all day long, because that's how people underestimate how much they're eating. And then they're like, oh, I'm following my diet, it's not working. It's like, well, no, you're not, Jim, because you're actually snacking 8 times throughout the day. And those little pretzels and hummus is adding up. That's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. One thing you're gonna be hearing from me more is I started Jump Rope Dudes, and when we were trying to explain dieting and how to eat to lose weight to other people, we used to make these really long, complicated videos. And the more that I've gone down this whole fitness path, the more that I'm like, man, you just gotta find like 5 to 10 meals that you really like and just eat them over and over again. I think a lot of people get scared that if they start dieting, that means it means eating food that they don't like. That couldn't be further from the truth. You just have to find meals that you know are super high in protein, like I was talking about, and then just repeat those meals a lot. And that actually makes, you know, as you're exercising, doing body weight exercises, maybe lifting weights, doing intense jump rope training, it just makes the process of getting the physique you want much easier. That's really all I had to say about that. It would be awesome if you guys left a comment or just asked me questions, because there is no, hey, this is the only diet that you have to follow. Some people are going to look at this and be like, well, I don't agree with that food, or I don't eat that food. And that's fine, man. At the end of the day, you should just construct your diet around things that are going to work for you and your goals. For me, I like to travel. I like to surf a lot. I like to be all over the place. All these foods that I just mentioned, I can pretty much get anywhere I go. I can always go somewhere and get a nice steak. I can always get a grilled chicken breast. I can always find some fruit to eat. I can typically find nuts, even if I'm in the airport or something like that. So would love to chat with you guys about this, because at the end of the day, at Jump Rope Dudes, we talk a lot about making things basic and simple to understand. And I'm trying to give you guys information that's going to help you just realize getting the physique you want and feeling good all the time isn't as hard as I think people make it out to be, or the fitness industry makes it out to be. So really appreciate you tuning in today. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video. We'll see you on the next video, bitch.